Hello there, welcome to Talking Balearics. It's good to be back. My name's Martin Makepeace here in a very sunny Ibiza.
And I'm Richie. I'm in also a very sunny Mallorca. How are you, Mark? Welcome back.
Great to see you, Rich. Season 2, here we go.
Season 2. There you go. Yeah, listen, it's good to be back. And thanks for everybody who sent us messages saying that they missed us. I mean, come on. They need to get out more, some people. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what else? Do you know what else, Rich? We've actually been having quite a few downloads, so I think people are catching up, aren't they, a little bit? So no, but it's great to be back, mate. It's really good to be back. Have you missed me?
Well, listen, how can I miss you, Mike? You're always on blooming Instagram. You can't get rid of you, even though you're not here. You're there, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Here I am eating sushi. Oh, that's great. You know what I mean?
I was in Japan. I was in Japan, Rich.
Well,
come on, mate.
When in Japan.
Exactly. So,
exactly.
4 weeks off, ready to go, refreshed. I'm a little bit jet lagged still, but I'm ready to go.
Yeah, me too, mate. Yeah, me too. Looking forward to it. Lots of things to talk about, of course. And as we get into what is predominantly winter time, but the temperatures. I mean, I don't know what it's like there in Ibiza, but it's about 25 degrees here today.
There's a little bit of a cold air coming in, but I was on the mainland at the weekend, and I've got to tell you, Rich, it was absolutely roasting over there. That little Denia pocket, Javier, Denia, Altea, Albia and Benidorm just seems to be always 3 or 4 degrees warmer than it is in Ibiza. But I've got to tell you, it's very warm over here today as well. So what have you got for me after 4 weeks away, Rich? I've been missing my Mallorca fix that you give me. So what have you got for me?
I've got World Travel Market, of course, because that's very important to talk about that, because that was only last week, actually, to be honest with you. I interviewed the Mayor of Calvia today, actually, in my radio show. So I think we should touch on that. Also touch on something from Ryanair. We love a bit of Ryanair. I don't, you do. But I've got something to Ryanair, which is important, I think, for both of our listeners to listen to as well. And I think that's more or less it, Mark. Those are my sort of 3 big subjects this week.
Yeah, I've got a couple. First of all, I just want to go in general about Balearics in the winter and what we're looking forward to over the next 3 or 4 months, because we've got November, December, January, February. So we've got 4 months. I feel March it really picks up in March. So we've got we've got 4 months to talk about there. I also want to touch on the world travel market, and I'm looking forward to listening to your rant as always, Rich. Because
no, it's not a rant. It was actually I thought it was quite. It didn't work out too badly for us, to be honest with you. But I'll talk about that in a sec.
Of course, yeah. I'm going to talk about world travel market. I haven't got a rant, but I've got a few things to say about it, like I always do, because I scratch my head every year. But we'll go into that later. Also, I want to talk. There was a big thing while I was away. I was following it in the press. Basically, the police federation over here it looks like they've had enough, Rich, because they're making a lot of declarations about how they found the summer and they don't seem to be happy. So I've been doing a bit of digging. So I'll talk about the police and what they've been saying in the press over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So plenty to go on with, Rich.
Yeah, so for people that don't know, the World Travel Market, one of the biggest sort of get-togethers of all the people in the know of the travel industry around the world, basically. It's in the Excel Centre in London. There's 3 main travel markets if you're sort of Europe-based. There's obviously London in November. There's the FITUR in Madrid in January, and then there's ITB in Berlin in March. So those are the 3 sort of big main ones, but the one that applies more to us than any, the World Travel Market in London. Put it this way, I say I'm not going to rant, but I am going to rant a little bit.
Of course you are, Richie. Of course you are.
Well, because there was people online going, why are we spending this money on tourism and marketing and everything else when we're full up? We're only full up in July and August. Let's face it. That's what we know. Sometimes you could sometimes include June and September. And any marketeer will tell you is you don't just give up because you're full. Do you know what I mean? You diversify and you take out what the good things that you want to get across to the market. And basically, obviously, what you want to try and do is fill up 12 months, not just 4 months of the year. To be perfectly honest,
Rich, you need to fill the shoulder months. I mean, listen, we have this 12-month argument, don't we? Not argument or discussion, should I say? But what we need to do is we need to fill March, April, and October. They're the ones we need to fill. And I mean, when I say fill, I mean 90%.
Yeah, at the moment, listen, I said earlier, I did an interview with the mayor today, and in Calvia, for instance, there's about 25% of hotels are open in the month of November going through, and also the sunbeds and the parasols haven't been taken away in November. They're staying to the end of November, so they have tried. Do you know what I mean? They have tried. The problem you're finding is, of course, that there isn't a volume enough of people for shops, bars, or restaurants to stay open.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Rich, but I always say I love this month, I love that month. Every month is different, but I've got to say I think April is probably one of the best months of the year because there's so much energy about the islands, isn't there? Because people are opening up again, and it just seems to all come together. And I've got to say, usually the weather in April is usually very, very good. So about 22, 23 degrees, quite cool at night. So I love April, March, May. It's just July and August I struggle with, Rich, as always. But I think we really do have to push the shoulder months. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to talk about winter in a second, but I think there's no reason why we shouldn't be full in March, April, and October, and even the first 2 weeks of November.
No, listen, I think Benidorm is a perfect example of that. It's literally across the water. You've just been there,
Rich.
Yeah,
it was rocking. It was absolutely rocking, Rich. I've got to tell you, it was warm. It was busy. Honestly, it was fantastic. I really got to say that.
So the world travel market, really, to be honest with you, the message from the Balearics was sustainability, of course, is a very, very key component to what is moving forward. And, to obviously fend off questions about the tourismophobia and the actions that were sort of put forward. But, lest we forget, if the truth be known, that the last actual protest while here in Mallorca was June the 15th. Do you know what I mean? That was the last actual what the organisers call a major protest. But apart from that, there hasn't been any other tourism phobia protests. And, at the end of the day, us as residents contribute to this tourism phobia because we're all going out to beaches and we're footfalling all over I stayed in a hotel a few weeks ago up in Porto Cristo, had to pay the tourist tax. We're all contributing to this. But at the end of the day, I think it was quite a positive world travel market for the Balearics. For people who don't know, there's normally a Balearic stand, which houses, of course, Ibiza, Minorca, Mallorca and Formentera. And then there's sort of different delegates from different areas look after different parts of the stand. And then you get the president of the government coming over and doing her thing normally on a Monday, or his thing. It's a her at the minute, of course. And then you get the different mayors of each different municipality doing their things, presenting what they have got going on. And, I thought it came out quite positive. A few sort of, people in the industry, Steve Heapy said it could be a difficult year next year for Mallorca, but they're always going to say that because they're looking to drive prices down themselves, so...
Well, they're always trying to cover their arses, aren't they, in the nicest possible way, because in case it doesn't quite happen or something happens to the market, they don't want to be overly positive, but they don't want to be too negative either. I mean, okay, the world travel market, you put it very succinctly. It's part of the big three, isn't it? Berlin, Madrid and London. What was good was President of the Ibiza Council, Vicente Mari, he did a big speech in London and just basically reiterated how important the British tourists are to the island, which is always nice to hear. We know it, Rich, don't we? But sometimes I've got to say, I do feel a bit undervalued as a British tourist in Spain because I think they take us for granted sometimes. I really do. So to see them be a little bit more humble, I think post-COVID, it's been a little bit like that as well. So his message was very clear. He said it's probably, arguably, the most important tourist sector on the island of Ibiza is the British tourism. So it's nice to hear that. The message is always a slightly strange from Ibiza because, I always have this little, bee in my bonnet because they don't mention the clubs or nightlife. It's almost like they're not allowed. It's the elephant in the room. So everybody goes to the Ibiza stand expecting to see all like the clubs because, I've said it before, if you go to the Las Vegas stand, what are you going to see there, Rich? Well, you're going to see they're going to see the casinos and the nightlife. If you go to the Ibiza stand, you're going to see the Falcon Trail and Ibithencan dancing. So I'm not sure that's exactly what we should be positioned, but I do get it. The simple matter is this, Rich. Think about this: the budget of each club on the island. So each nightclub, the super clubs, is probably higher than the whole budget of the Ibiza Conseil, right? Mm-hmm. So what they think about, what their position is, they say, listen, the clubs will always promote themselves anyway, so we don't need to. Should they include the clubs in the package? Yes, they should, in my opinion. They must do it, but they don't, and I kind of get it as well. But the message was clear. They're looking to promote the island sporting-wise. They're looking to promote it low season, weddings. They're looking to have like the couples holiday, if you know what I mean, low season, and it was positive. I've got to say, I thought the stand was very, very good. I thought the Balearic stand, the Mallorca stand is always fantastic, but the Ibiza stand this year was very, very good. Saw all the old same gravy train participants, all the all the mayors and the mayors hangers on and things like that. It's, I get it. I suppose it's like anything, Rich, isn't it? If it is a bit of a gravy train, great, as long as you're doing the work when you get there. And I think the actual feedback was, I think they got some business done.
Yeah, I think so, and I think we can only move positively forward. There's a lot of I talk about Mallorca. We've already talked that obviously there's a flight coming every week, or flights coming every day actually from the US. We've got new flights coming in from Montreal next year, from Abu Dhabi. There's talk about South Africa now. There's now a flight coming in from Egypt. So the international connections is going well. And one thing I just wanted to ask, Mark, because you were just talking about the clubs don't really get a look in, and that obviously they're looking at. Sort of promoting things that are off the wall slightly for Ibiza. Has any club ever taken the risk of opening in the winter? Has anybody actually decided to do that?
Well, no. Pasha's open all year, so Pasha's open at weekends, so that's open, and it's quite busy. And New Year's Eve, you'll get a lot of the clubs opening. DC10 opens as well. They sometimes open for special occasions, like Halloween was a big night, and the first week of November. I mean, it's quite clear, Rich, that the season is being pushed out a little bit, And
particularly Ibiza. I mean, Ibiza definitely has moved since we started talking, definitely.
Well, I think, what I was going to say when we finished talking about the World Travel Market, I think we're now set up for probably the busiest winter in Ibiza that we've ever had. I'm talking tourists, I'm talking locals, I'm talking residents, a bit of everything, sporting events. I think we're going to be surprised because we know Christmas and New Year's busy. So yes, the clubs are there, but don't forget these clubs, Rich. They need 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people to really work very well, and there's just not that volume in the winter. So they will open, but just for special occasions. Yeah,
but all I'm thinking is, Mark. I mean, listen, I could go back to the times when. Reunions, you'll remember reunions, reunion sales where you used to sell all those £10 deposits and only about 2% of them actually turned up. What happened to the rest of the money?
I wonder.
But I just think that sometimes there could be a club. I mean, when you say it's 5,000, 6,000, you work that out. If you could get a hotel open for the weekend every weekend, and I just think it could work. But obviously they've done the maths, and it doesn't. But I understand that.
I think it's the profile of person that comes out of season as well, Rich, and not particularly the clubbing type. However, as I said, there are options. I think Chinois, which is a beautiful little club in the middle of Ibiza town, that opens quite regularly in the winter because it's only small. It probably fits 1,000 people, and it opens, and they put on some great DJs. So the message is clear, Rich. If you come to Ibiza in the winter, there's plenty to do, by the way. There's plenty to do. And you can park your car and you can get a restaurant reservation as well. So something you can't do in the peak season. So
that's true.
I think the message from the World Travel Market was clear, come on over. Interesting, you mentioned the T word. The T word, the tourismophobia. I saw that there was a bit of chat about that, but I think that's going to die down a little bit, Rich. I think in the winter now, there's definitely no tourismophobia over, is there, this time of year? So, let's put that to one side and focus on the winter, which interesting when I said about the clubbing side of things at the World Travel Market. I talked about the budgets before. Once the clubs all got together and did a big presentation at the World Travel Market, it's got to be probably 15 years ago now, probably, or maybe even more. I always remember because I remember they went over the big splash and they came back and went, well, that's a waste of time. We're not going to do that again. So they don't need it, mate, with social media. You don't need it. They've got people there as well. Interesting enough, O Beach did a big party. I think they did a big party in London over the World Travel Market weekend, invited people. Dwayne Lanica, who's the MD of Ocean Beach Group, he did a big interview in the press. So,
I saw that.
Yeah, it's got to say, Rich, I always have a bugbear because I just think there's too many hangers on that go over. I really do. But, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. But I think overall, World Travel Market for the Balearics was very, very positive.
I agree.
The Talking Balearics podcast is brought to you by Priority Mallorca, your personal concierge for the ultimate Mallorca experience.
Winter, Rich, come on, tell me what your plans are, Rich. Come on, for Mallorca.
Well, Mallorca, I was interviewing the mayor this morning, actually. Juan Antonio Almongal is the mayor for the region of Calvia. And I've got to know him quite well. In fact, I did meet him and interviewed him actually before he actually became mayor. So he came in today, and obviously we've been talking about Magaluf, of course, has gone through such a change over the course of the last few years. They now started on the second part of the promenade. They did the first part last year, that completed in April. They're looking to complete the second part now. Interesting enough, what he did tell me is that it's not happening this year, but next year they are looking at regenerating the Punta Baena.
Nice.
And also another street called Calle Blanc as well, which means they are looking at other places. They are going to sort of upgrade those. We've said they're going to need to. Do you know what I mean? Because the front line is so good now. The second line needs to be doing it, and then the third line needs to be doing as well. So that's good. He said, of course, there's lots of fiestas happening in and around November, December, leading up to Christmas. Lots of good things happening. I mean, not just in Calvia where I live, but in Palma. Palma becomes a fantastic place to go for shopping, of course, for the lights. The lights get switched on November the 22nd.
Yeah.
That's always good to go and see. And then, if you want to come here for a weekend, plenty of places to go shopping, lots of great markets. There's a brand new German market opening up towards the end of this month. And then obviously we've got a lot of shopping centres. We've got the actual main drag of shops just near the cathedral as well. So I think, Palma itself should definitely be busy in the winter time leading up to Christmas anyway. And then as we get into January, normally, obviously, we got up to the Three Kings when the Spaniards celebrate their sort of Christmas, Three Kings on the night of the 5th and into the 6th. And then obviously, it's then sort of countdown to get to, as you said, get back to March time.
Yeah.
There'll be lots of cycling events here. There'll be lots of marathon events. We've had a couple of triathlons already here. And I think football tourism is still quite big here. Do you know what I mean? Lots of teams coming over to do football tours, whether that be at half-term level or Christmas level or even next Easter, because obviously we have the Mallorca East Cup, or the East Mallorca Cup as it's called. And I think there's lots of those things happening. So I think it's going to be a good winter, Mark. I look forward to winter as much as anybody else does. Obviously, as you just said, you can get a restaurant reservation.
Yeah.
You can park your
car. Yeah.
You can do lots of things that you wouldn't normally do in the summer. We shouldn't moan because obviously we live off that industry. So you get yourself by it and everything else. But once you've got through that sort of level of July and August, then you're back ready to start settling down again for winter.
Yeah, no, it goes quickly, doesn't it, these days? Just a quick question: when you interviewed your mayor today, the alcalde, what was his overall thoughts about summer 25, looking to summer 26? Was he positive? Do you think it went well?
Yeah, I think one of the big things that they did, and you and I know about this is the Stick With Your Mates campaign that they've done with the government in the UK, basically, and obviously the British consul and everything else. This is fact. We haven't had a balcony death in the last 4 years.
Wow,
we haven't had one in the last 4 years, which is not something. It's on the one hand you want to shout about it, but you don't want to shout about it if you're not. Do you know what I mean? Because it's awful. That those sort of things are awful. But it's it shows you where the resort is going.
Yeah.
The resort is heading towards a family resort and a couples type of resort. When I say couples, I mean older and younger as well, which I think is a good thing personally. I know some people don't agree with me, but I do still think it's a good thing. And he's positive. He understands that the British market is very, very key to Calvia as a place to live and as a place to come on holiday, and he looks at it in a positive way. And he's one of these mayors. I think you've got the similar sort of one in San Antonio who does get himself around. He goes to lots of different meetings, lots of different association meetings and parties, fiestas, etc., to get himself known. And I like him. Do you know what I mean? I've interviewed him 4 or 5 times now.
Was he on the London Gravy train? Did he get on that one, or was he there?
Yeah, he was. Of course he was there because obviously Magaluf had just had the ABTA conference as well. Don't forget. So it was sort of heading on the back of the ABTA conference, moving into London, and obviously telling people once again about how Magaluf has regenerated itself into a great resort. So he was there.
I've got to say, Rich, I know you don't want to talk about that the balconing or any problems with balconies, but I think that's a really important point. I mean, I know what you're saying. You don't want to really shout. You don't want to celebrate that you've not had any of those incidents, but also it's quite an important point because you know what, we've had a terrible year on it, Rich. We really have.
I know you have. Yeah,
and I think in many ways, is that not just a sign of where you're going and where we're going? We're going.
Quite possibly.
Listen, Mallorca's going family orientated. Couples. Ibiza. Kids aren't allowed here anymore, Rich. The families, I think some of the hotels, they've got big adults only signs outside, big no kids and whatever. So, I think, good and bad to both of those, both things. But I think well done to Mallorca, and I think the British the British consulate will be very happy at that, won't they? Because I think it's a full turn, because you used to have a lot of those problems and you have it now, which is amazing. So well done for that. Winter-wise over here, Rich, let me just go through a few things. We're now coming close to the middle of November. At the end of November, just like you said, we'll have the Christmas lights. And when we have the Christmas lights, we get the Christmas markets as well. I think San Antonio Christmas Market, which is this amazing, I've got to say, it's the most amazing Christmas market, opens at the end of November. And listen to this, Rich, we don't close until the end of January on the Christmas market.
Really?
Because, it's mad, isn't it? Because I'll tell you why, because we have our San Antonio Day
of course,
about the 20th of January. So they extended that little 2 more weeks. Yeah. And, I spoke to the chief of police last year and he said, I just can't wait for this market to close. He said, it's just been, he said, everybody's out every night. He said, it just causes that little bit of drama. But realistically, he said it tongue in cheek. He said, realistically, you've got the Christmas market there. And I think the message is clear, Rich. I think the Balearics is becoming more accessible. We've got the flights. We have flights from Amsterdam. I think we have flights from direct from Germany. I think there's a Zurich flight that comes in on a Saturday as well. I think it goes into you. Obviously, we have the London City flight. So remember probably 10, 12 years ago where flights were all more or less non-existent.
I remember you used to have to come here, Mark, to go to the UK, right?
Yeah, always. So, flight companies will only put them on if they're viable, by the way. They're not going to do it for a favour. So the fact that they are putting them on and they are viable just shows you that, the Balearics, we're getting there, Rich. But in many ways, we don't want to go too. I know this is going against
too many people in your back your back garden. Is that what you're trying to say?
What an absolute NIMBY I am, yeah. But I'd like a few people, but not a lot. Is that okay? Can I just say that? So and also a really important point from the sustainability point of view, we can't do that all year round, Rich. We have to have a break. The island has to have a breather for 6 months. So what we're saying is, come over, but it'll never be like the summer, and the summer's never like winter. They're almost two unique products, aren't they?
They are, yeah. And I did blog the other week about the tourist tax. You probably read that on your travels, I'm sure not. But
always reading your blogs, Rich. You know that.
I know
they keep me company when I'm on the bullet train in Tokyo.
It helps you to drop off. Yeah.
Your voice notes on at night, Rich, and I'm straight to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. I just still think it's, for me, it's still, we've got to charge everybody under 16s. We've got to charge everybody all the year round, straight fee. Don't give, discounts in the winter and everything else. Just charge the same fee. And then obviously, try and spend the money that you've obviously accumulated over the course of the last 4 years. But anyway, let's get off that subject.
So Rich, I'm not going to go there today, mate. I'm just coming down after a weekend in Benidorm. I don't want to start ranting about that one. So,
this is the Talking Balearics podcast in association with the Ibiza Property Shop. Over 20 years' experience in sales and villa rentals. The home you want on the island you love.
No, that's good, mate. So we've done the world travel market, we've done winter. What was that other thing you had for me?
Well, Ryanair, interesting enough, I know you're a big Ryanair fan.
I'm a massive Ryanair fan, yeah.
Me, not so much, but you might know as of tomorrow, you are not allowed to present a paper ticket or paper confirmation at the check-in desk or anything else. It is now digital only. So you obviously got to download the app on your phone, and you've got to get your whatever it is, your voucher, whatever is your boarding card, directly on your phone. And you're not allowed to, if you turn up, they won't allow you to fly basically with a paper.
I always get. I always get slightly concerned because, if you've got an elderly parent or something like that who hasn't got the apps, it's always, but, you've got to hand it to O'Leary. I remember you telling, I think you said it on a previous podcast about the incentives for the oversized, and I saw O'Leary on a interview about that. He's very direct, isn't he? I've got to tell you that. He knows that there's no grey areas with Michael O'Leary, is there? So he knows what he's doing.
He just says if you break the law, then you've got to pay. The problem is it's subjective. This is the problem with it. He says if it doesn't fit, well, if it fits one way but it doesn't fit the other, that doesn't really, you know what I mean? That's the problem.
Well, they go viral as well. Those clips always go viral, don't they? So
Or the person putting on all their clothes out of their suitcase. It's quite funny sometimes.
Just to confirm for clarity, Rich, that's from November the 12th. No more boarding.
From tomorrow.
From
tomorrow. Yeah, it is.
Okay. I love Ryanair. You know me. I'm a Ryanair fanboy, I'm afraid, mate. So, but you've got to pay the money. Just pay the money. No grey areas. Pay the money. Extra space, and also the extra cabin bag, and away you go.
But if you weren't 6'7", then you know what I mean. You might have a slightly different take on it. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I went standby to Tokyo 14 hours, and I got the middle seat. You know, the middle seat for 14 hours. So it was a tough one, mate. But I got there in the end. The price was right. Let me just put it that way. So that's it. Rich, looks like we've got a bit of a breaking in the ranks of the police of Ibiza, because the head of the police federation has given this quite strange interview to anyone who was listening, basically. And what he's actually said is that the police can't cope in the summer. That's what he said. If you read through it, he said, and also with the arrival of, you know, we've touched on it previously, of people on the boats now, the immigrants on the boats, it's just basically putting too much pressure on the police federation over here, the police plantilla. Now, you know, for those who probably don't know, we've got three different types of police, haven't we? We've got the Guardia Civil, we've got the Policia Locale, and we've also got the Policia Nacional as well, haven't we? Have I missed anyone out?
No, that's it. That's
the three, yeah. But San Antonio, where I live, not allowed to have the Policia Nacional because it's not big enough. I think it's over 25,000. It might be over 50,000. I might be wrong.
That's interesting.
But yeah, they're only in towns of a certain size. So Ibiza town has got the Policia Nacional, and they're the ones. You've got the Guardia Civil, who are the military police, so to speak. You've got the local police, who are kind of the ones on the street handing out the parking fines and trying to help you. And then you've got the Policia Nacional, who wear the dark blue uniforms or the black uniforms, and they're a little bit more stricter. But what they're actually saying, Rich, is interesting. He said that at any one time in Ibiza, you've got about 250 agents in total. Yeah, 250 agents. And what he's actually saying is we actually need double that. 500. So he's not saying we need 20% more. He's not saying we need 50% more. He's actually saying they need 100% more. And he just said, without them, that's why you get all these headlines in the summer. You've got the watch gang. I think I sent you over a link of that. You've got the specific watch gang stealing high-end watches. You've got the house robberies in the peak season. You've got the general pickpocketing. You know, lucky enough, touch wood, the Balearics is a very, very safe place to come to in general. You know, very, very safe. But what he's saying, there's just not enough there. So what he's asking that. But the problem we've got again, Rich, you know, we're going to go back to this surprise. You know, how do you get more police over when their salary is X amount and they can't afford it? And they can't afford it. Why would you come to Ibiza where if you're a police person, policeman or woman, you come to Ibiza, you know you're going to have petty crimes all summer, you know, because that's the nature of the beast. You can't find anywhere to live, and it's expensive to live here. It's not better to go to Murcia, where it's €300 a month, and, you know, there's not that many tourists on the street. So, you know, we have got a real problem. But I think when the chief of the police federation calls it out, I just hope the powers that be are listening, Rich, because, you know, it looks like he's drawn the line in the sand and he's looking for solutions to problems.
But it'd be interesting to see, Mark. I mean, obviously, you know, police are needed. I think that this is where Magaluf let itself down years ago, to be honest with you. It was policing, you know what I mean? And I think, you know, by changing the resort, obviously, you change the mentality of the people. You know, everything needs policing, no matter which way around you look at it. It does. And then you try to clear the streets of all the problems that it has. I know it's difficult, you know, to get everything sorted, you know, with the society that we live in today. But, you know, let's see. Hopefully that gets sorted for you and they can find some sort of, you know, would there be sort of a disused hotel or, I don't know, or army barracks or something that could be used to house these people? I don't know.
Well, I just think it's like anything, you know, it's a bit like the boats in the UK and the, you know, the cost of living over here. You know, sometimes you're going to have to go for the nuclear option sooner or later because you can't just keep kicking the can along the road, can you?
No,
because
exactly.
or sometimes it will just come to a head. And I think, as I said, this is I've never seen such a strong worded statement before. I mean, there've been grumbles before, but this time he's come out and said it. Listen, we need twice as many police, and we need to, find solutions to the housing problem as well. So let's see how that goes.
Quick football chat at the end, Mark. Come on, you want.
Listen, I have lots of calls, especially from females as well. But someone told me to stop being sexist last time because I said the girls weren't interested. So I apologise for that, because many ladies out there love football, don't they? So, Rich, on behalf of all the girls out there, let's have a football story.
And we all know that you don't get plenty of calls from ladies out there, Mark. Come on, stop giving it the full beef. That's why you go away on your own.
Go on, Rich. It wouldn't be a Talking Balearics podcast without your football story. Come on.
Got to mention for Real Mallorca. We're out of the relegation zone with a win at the weekend. It wasn't great, I'll be honest with you. Beat Getafe by 1-0 with a goal from Mariki in the first sort of 10 minutes. It's going to be a tough season, Mark. That's all I can say. We had a great win away in Sevilla since we were away. And then we got absolutely gubbed by Betis. So
saw that.
Sort of, it's up and down, really, to be perfectly honest. But let's see. I mean, we're out of relegation right now. We've got a few games that are in and around us, teams that are in and around us. We had a tough start, as you know.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're sort of, if we defend well, which is obviously the key to us, do you know what I mean? Because we can't score that many goals. Then we should be all right. But we've got to obviously keep winning our home games, because away we're awful normally. So let's see.
I'm not sure I included it in our former podcast, but the UD manager got sacked. Do you know about this? Saw that? Yeah. And he said in the press a few days ago, I'm hoping we can resolve these problems of payment. So there's obviously not been paid off yet as well. And they've replaced him with somebody with very, very little experience. Remember, we've been through this before, haven't we?
Yes,
we've done this before, haven't we? So Miguel Alvarez, right? So and his CV, he's come from Villarreal B. Okay, so, and he was with Marbella before. That league that Udi and Ibiza, I mean, it's so cutthroat. You lose 2 games and you go down 5 or 6 places. It's a bit like the Championship, greatest league in the world, by the way, the Championship. So,
how are Derby doing?
5 out of 5, Rich. That's all you need to know. We've won the last 5 games. Incredible, really. So yeah, we're on our way. But Udi Ibiza got a new manager, and we know that Amadeo Salvo, who's the president of Udi Ibiza, a reputed billionaire, does not mess about. So new manager in. Watch this space.
Revolving door, I heard at the manager's door is a revolving one. Yeah, because he likes to get rid of them quick, doesn't he?
He doesn't mess about, mate. He does not mess about.
In 4 weeks, I'll be making a pilgrimage to Ibiza to see my son play.
Okay.
SD Portmany, the 14th, I think it is. 14th December.
Yeah.
Is the day we play Portmany, which is it could be a good game, actually. I saw Portmany play. I think I texted you, didn't I? They played against San Francisco, which is the other team here, and beat them. So let's see.
We're talking about the Juvenil Nacional, aren't we? So the second tier of under-19s football, for those who don't know. So yeah, come on to Portmany. I'm there later to speak to the guys. So look forward to it.
Yeah, it's the 14th, definitely the 14th. 5 o'clock kick-off in the afternoon. So popping over, and I'll definitely be having lunch, I think, Mark, somewhere in Ibiza.
Fantastic. Oh, well, you will. I'm sure you'll be texting me, even though I probably won't be here, mate. So anyway, Rich, that's it. We're back, season 2. Did you? Yeah, it's good to be back, isn't it? Listen, you've gone from not wanting to do the podcast to texting me all the time saying, when are we back? So it's been great.
That's because I keep getting messages from people asking me. You see, so I have to.
No, mate, I know.
So just check Instagram and you'll find out where he is. You know what I mean? So,
but when you're as popular as you, Rich, they want to hear from you, don't they? So,
yes, of course, Mark. Yes.
And before we go, Rich, how's the radio show going?
Good, yes, thank you. All good. We're coming up to Christmas. We've got a big charity appeal coming up for Christmas. We're raising money for a charity called Yachting Gives Back. It looks after the homeless in Palma. Also, an orphanage in Palma as well. We're looking after, and an animal sanctuary as well. So, trying to spread the love over Christmas. We've got raffle tickets. We're doing lots of different things leading up to Christmas, and then we move into the new year, and new things are happening, Mark. So, which is good. So,
give it a plug, mate. Give it a plug. Come on.
Wave Mallorca. You can listen in online around the world, of course, at wavemallorca.radio.com, and also to tell your smart speakers to play Wave Mallorca, they will. I'm on breakfast. I do breakfast 7 till 10 every morning, Monday to Friday. So tune in.
Believe it or not, I know you probably won't think this after listening to this podcast, but he's actually very good on the radio, is our Rich. So,
he's very kind. It's a blimey. There you go.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna clip that. There's a little bit of praise for a change, Rich. So
yeah, it's fantastic. Thank you.
Great to see you, mate. Have a very good week, and same time next week, buddy.
All right, see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.
See you, Rich.
Make me dance.
You've been listening to the Talking Balearics Podcast with Martin Makepeace and Richie Pryor. This is the only English-speaking podcast covering the Balearic Islands, which has a thriving expat population and welcomed 15.3 million international tourists in 2024, including almost 4 million UK visitors.